Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Come on and shout it. I talk, you talk, we talk. Women talk life. It ain't no surprise. Baby, you could see if you would open up your eyes. You won't understand if you can't open up your mind. So let's stop wasting time when women talk live.
And welcome to another episode of Women's Talk Live Overnights. I'm your girl, April J.
I'm SassyScribe.
And this is Elle, Boogie.
She's not in the car, y'all.
She's not in the car, but we still got that KL delay.
Look, it must be the connection because I say it right after you. I'm gonna say it right after April.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man. All right, so today we're getting into more of the foolishness that's going on in today's society. That's all you can say is foolishness. But today's show is titled Politricks and Distractions. Because that's apparently what it is. I mean, it's a whole lot of,
tricking.
Yeah, tricking. Right.
You know, there's so many conspiracy theories online about it, though. Now, okay, we'll talk about it when we get into that segment, but it's just so much. It's so much to talk about. We really need like 5 hours instead of 30 minutes when we do this.
I know. It's like, we could do a whole series.
Just on that alone.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. All right. So I thought, we do our little known facts. So I thought we would kind of shift a little bit and kind of say, okay, did what he say is true? So here we go. So this is Trump.
Tripping or?
Yeah. Is this bullshit or what?
Well, if Trump said it is straight bullshit.
You never know. So the first one is Trump stated that China doesn't have a lot of wind farms. But in fact, China has 138 offshore wind farms as of April 2025 this year, making it the global leader in offshore wind installations.
See, he's an idiot. That's a verified, seriously, that's a verified fact. You could pull up Google Maps and put in China's wind farms and they'll come up.
Exactly.
He's a fucking idiot.
You can put AI and AI will tell you.
Well,
Gemini tell you, Siri tell you,
anybody
Alexa
can tell
will
you
tell you.
Liberia speaks English. However, anybody can tell you Liberia's native language is English. However, it does not stop him from saying how well the Liberian president did.
I know, that was
right. But see, to him, all of Africa is full of savages.
Yeah.
That's all he thought. Not the fact that has he seen, some of these cities in Nigeria and I'm gonna name these northern African countries that don't want to be African. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Yemen.
Yeah.
They all are African, but they're all savages to him unless they're giving them money.
If you think about it, the Middle East was part of Africa.
The Middle East is Africa.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what they don't want you. They don't want to think that they don't want you to know, okay, no, we're not part of Africa. We're the Middle East.
At the top of Africa.
No, the hell you are not.
I can't take it.
But they also don't want you to know how large of a landmass Africa is. That you could fit North America, Europe, and other countries within Africa's landmass.
Which is why China is doing its very best to divide up.
Of course. And African people are the smartest people I have personally known. Like, I personally
traveled,
been there. And they are some of the smartest people Now, I don't know what happened when they come over here. They get very arrogant. But over there, they're very welcoming. They love to see black people come, which is a myth, because they'll tell you, oh, Africans don't like black people. Maybe the Africans over here in the U.S. don't like you. I don't know what's wrong with them. But when you go over there, they love to see black people come over there. They even tell you welcome home when you come.
Really?
Yes. That was the
Oh,
first time I ever went. They literally said to us, welcome home. And then and I even had a tribal
Aw.
leader say to me, we don't see you. We always see the white man, but we don't see you as often. They
wow.
want to see us come.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm scared of the
you leave
bush.
over
Yeah.
here.
So let me ask you though, since you did travel, no,
I mean, April slept in a hut. I mean, stuff like
since
that
you did
scares
travel, like
me.
what's it like for you?
For me, when
What
I
did
went,
it feel like for you when you came and they welcomed you home?
it was like, whoa. Because you kind of like because you don't really know what to expect when you go over there,
Hmm.
because it was my first time there. I've never been there. This is the first time outside of going to an island. It's the first time going across the Atlantic.
To
So it's just
Africa.
like to Africa. So it was like I didn't know what to expect.
Hmm.
But when I got there, it was they were just very friendly, warm people. And even when they said that, I was just like, whoa, okay. And they make you feel like you are literally home. That's how they make you feel. And I
Wow.
mean, and I tell people, black, especially black people, in your lifetime, you should at least visit Africa one time. You don't
My
you as soon as you step foot on that
Yeah,
soil,
because we go
it's
everywhere
a
else.
it's an experience that you will never feel. It's like a feeling that you will never ever feel.
well, it is two places in Africa that I want to go. I want to go and I want us to go to Ghana and I want to see that river with the.
Yes,
I know it sounds morbid, but it's that river I want to see.
the door to nowhere. I went there.
No, not the door to nowhere. That's the
Not
second
be the
place.
door the where you.
Yeah.
It's like it's a gate. It's called the gate
That's in
Yeah,
of
Senegal,
no
right?
return, and it's a
yeah.
river.
That's yeah. Okay, that's exactly
Yes,
Yeah.
where I want to go
yes,
because they
and
said it's sort of like that tree that sits on the Jamestown River here in Virginia that hung so many of our ancestors. Hell, I felt the same presence when I went to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum in Baltimore and I stepped foot on that slave ship. As soon as you hear that Dutchman talking, it sends chills through your body. Like you can feel the presence of your ancestors.
you know
And
it's.
and I want to feel it, but I don't want to feel it. You,
Let
you
me
know what I
tell you.
mean?
Let me tell you when we went there, because we
I think
went
we
to
have
Ghana a
to
couple
feel
of
it.
years ago, and when we actually went there, they told us we had to take our shoes off because we were stepping on sacred ground. As soon as we went through the gates, it was like you was just like it hit you like I literally my eyes welled up. I ain't a person to cry,
No.
but my eyes welled up because it was like you could
What was
you could
that movie?
feel that, like it was like such a strong presence, and it just like it gripped you. And then when you went to the river, like once I went to the river, it was almost like you could hear.
Ooh.
And I was just like, and it really, it was chilling. It felt like when I was um over in Tanzania, when I went to where they actually the theater where they were selling off the slaves. It
Mm.
was it was a similar feeling, but it was more intense there. And it was just like, oh my gosh.
Hmm.
And the guy was telling us and explaining to us and all this stuff, and we got to write on the wall, and it
Ooh.
was just, oh my gosh. I tell people all the time, I said that I have never in my entire life experienced anything like that ever. And it was like
And
every last one of us was like, oh my gosh, do you feel that? Do you feel that?
and that's like a trip that you would want to take your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, that you would
Yeah.
definitely want to take your kids.
Right. Right. Yep. And also another one that's by the beach, which is it was like a old Catholic temple or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
you go into the top was where the Catholic church or whatever was, and then the bottom is where they kept the slaves. And not they didn't change anything. And they took us in this room where they held them.
And it's
As soon as they closed the door, it was pitch black.
Woo.
And I was like, I was literally shaking, because I was just like, I couldn't imagine. And then, they walked you through where women who were pregnant or
Mm.
whatever, the where they kept them. And then there was the huge wooden door gate. As soon as they opened it, they said that's where they marched them off to the ships. And I was just like, these were two places that
Oh
I
God, I'm
went
getting
there.
emotional just talking about
It was
this.
like,
I
I was
am.
like, I could, I tell people all the time, I say, if you ever have a chance to go there, you should, because it's an experience that you will never feel anywhere ever.
Well,
So
maybe that'll be a trip to put on the bucket list. But
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
I'm
All
sorry,
right,
got us
all
off
right.
track.
Yeah,
Let's get back to the second
yeah.
one.
All right. So the next one is, Trump stated that Biden nominated and renominated Fed Chair Jerome Powell, when in fact Trump nominated Powell in November of 2017, and Biden renominated him in November of 21.
It's just, see, just this.
And he said this, and you could see the faces of the reporters when they were like, wait a minute, what?
Mhm.
But you know what, though, the reporters that are in the White House briefing press room or whatever,
Ugh.
at this point, they just all got to start laughing when they lie and then say it's a lie. And then just start, but they want access in that press room. They need to really, the journalists aren't doing their job. And it really been pissing me off ever since he had his first term.
Yeah.
Because they give this man so much grace that they
Mhm.
would never give anybody
Well,
else.
you know what?
And
It's so.
then the icing on the cake, God forgive me. I'm asking you for forgiveness now before I say what I'm about to say. Okay.
Oh, shit.
The founder of the Heritage Foundation died, and imagine being known as your legacy is nothing but hatred. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
And it's like I'm basking in somebody dying, but it's got to be a trickle down effect.
Right. Right.
All of them in their 80s, 70s, and 80s, all of them old, full of hatred.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Satan, have your way.
right. Well, you know what? It's so interesting because I was watching something on social media where Obama was sitting on stage and they were interviewing him, and he said, you know what? He said, if I had done a fraction of what he is doing now, he said, do you know they would have ran me out of DC? He said, I could not have in no way gotten away with even a fraction of what this man is doing. And you're like, yeah, no, it's
He's
it's
not lying.
no, not lying, not lying. All right,
But I think
Okay.
that people can sit and look at this and wonder how the Holocaust came about. This is how the Holocaust came about. This is
Mm.
how you talk about people being apathetic and lack of empathy, and you put things in place where people are so confused and distracted by the situation that you've put them in that they don't see the bigger picture. Like when Sassy's talking about the media, cartailing to him. If you speak against what Israel or the government, then you're put on a watch list. Like these are the things that were implemented in order to control society. Like you
mm,
see it happening, and it's weird because you feel it and you see it happening, and it's nothing you can do to like really stop it. In essence, I mean, because everybody that you thought was supposed to be looking out for your best interests or deciphering truth out of lies and things like that, have let everybody down. Everybody's let down. So
yeah,
now you're struggling trying to figure out how you're going to feed your family if your kid can continue in college if you have a job in a job or a pension in a job that you've worked 19.10 months for, 19 years and 10 months for, and you not necessarily getting a pension or being on disability and or being old and your social security is in jeopardy, your Medicare is in jeopardy. Nobody got time to be worrying about what he said about this person right now. They try and pay the bills, and that is the whole point of getting people distracted by the politics and the deception that they bring
Hmm.
about by all this chaos that they cause.
And see,
Bouncing off the
and
soapbox. I'm sorry.
but no, it's not you being on your soapbox. You're right. It is a distraction, which is I guess is going to lead us into what we started to discuss a couple of weeks ago, but now we're coming back full circle. When you had mentioned Kim about this America Party that Elon Musk wanted to start, and like, we understand that the two-party system in America isn't good, the Democrats and Republicans, but the Green Party has always taken away votes. The Libertarian Party has always taken away votes, and then what's the other party that they tried to get started outside of this new one? Was it the Tea Party?
I think it was may
Was
have been the Tea
The Tea
Party.
Party.
the Tea Party? But the Tea Party has
The Tea
now
Party.
been rolled into the Republicans and their MAGA. So that's all one. But Kim, you were telling us about
Hmm.
Elon Musk's America Party. So you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, the bromance kind of got broken up because Trump, the conniving thief, decided to allow legislation to go through about electrical vehicles, which is, of course, Musk's bread and butter. And so
Hmm.
he's saying that he thinks that the government spends too much money and we have too much oversight. And so he wants Doge to be created into the American Party. And the only problem with that is, even though he's the richest man in the world, apparently it takes more than money to establish a political party. So you have certain parties that have been, like you were mentioning, the Green Party. They've been trying for decades to become a legitimate independent party, but you need a certain number of votes, like maybe I think 1.1 million if you were doing it in California, and that's just at a state level. And then those people have to remain on a ballot as being registered voters for a certain number of years. And so money can't necessarily buy you that. But now that him and Trump have more or less, I guess, they're playing in the sandbox together, that's a non issue. But I really think it's just about him presenting it, like he said, the American Party. He's not American. How are you
Eh,
going to try to build unity and cohesion off of, you wouldn't be included in said party? Like, it's amazing to me that even the audacity and the level of, I want to say hubris, but
that's what it is. It's hubris.
just
You're right.
the caucasity of this man who's not American coming to America with all the rights and privileges to talk about people who are not even doing harm to America, but who are here working, paying taxes, not receiving benefits for said taxes, talking to a man who's never had an American born wife, who, oh, I'm sorry, Marlon Maples, but I think he just got caught up in that. But to have never had an American, all his children are anchor babies. You know what I mean? So
All
all of the
except for
things that
one.
you're
All
talking
except for
about,
Tiffany. Tiffany is not the anchor baby, but the other ones are all anchor babies.
yeah, well,
The other
that's the
four.
Marlon Maples. And then you had your wife here on a, what is it, what is it
Visa,
called?
Epstein visa, Einstein visa,
Visa. Yes, thank
Einstein.
you. I mean, it's it's disappointing. The America Party will never really happen, and that's only because I mean he's really just throwing a temper tantrum and throwing his money and his
Hmm.
weight around. It's not something that
Hmm.
logistically I would see happening because of the technicalities involving state and federal legislation and being able to reconcile the two per all 50 states to get people on the ballot. It's really hard to get an independent person on a ballot outside of a Democratic or Republican Party. Um, I do, however, think we do need to restructure because the Democrats, you know, to me are
Feckless.
just as bad or worse than the Republicans because you bow down. You don't fight the fight that you're supposed to be fighting. Like everybody should fight like Jasmine Crockett. Period. Point blank to end. Every
Everybody
person
should
that
be
has
fighting
been
like Jab,
elected, Jasmine Crockett. I think
Jasmine,
she is.
AOC, but
Yeah, but I
but we
like
only
when
got
they asked
three.
her.
Everybody else is like, I'm sorry. Cory Booker
Well, I mean,
is
they
top.
do try. Don't
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. You know, they do try to assassinate and you know, character and unalive people for real over, you know, any level of threat that they pose to the industry. But
Right.
I do want to talk about the Burkina Faso and how that whole movement in and of itself is so much bigger than the demographic that they're in and the continent that they're in now. Like those ideals and that back to black is really resonating with a lot of people in other countries who aren't necessarily, you know, in America that had those issues. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But the America Party, I mean, shit,
It's
America's
a.
having a party. All the rich people are having balloons and celebrations, and you know, we're here to serve. Apparently,
I think this is another distraction. I mean, it's so many of them that to the point where I think he actually came out because I remember my favorite talk show host, he's long gone, Joe Madison said, in politics, there are no permanent friends, only permanent. No, he said there's no permanent enemies or permanent friends, only permanent interests. So, although I think Elon came out with this America Party, I do believe it is another distraction from these Epstein files. Let's look. In the last couple of weeks, we didn't have this man come out and give us his medical history when he would never give us his medical history. It's another distraction because he is all through the Epstein files, which did exist, but then they didn't exist, but then they did exist, but
You
Obama did
see,
it
he said Obama did it. Then he said
because
Biden did it. But
those are the truth.
Elon has actually put fuel to the fire, more fuel to the fire.
But see, Elon's a
Because
bitch. You just
he
it's him.
is, he
It's
is.
about
That's
the hubris.
yeah,
He's a bitch.
he is.
He's, he's, he's a bitch.
And I don't think he is going to. I personally think it's not gonna go anywhere because now he has too many people that hate him now. Like him coming back to where he was, I just don't see it because people are at a point right now where he just talk. Nobody's listening.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Go talk to little X. Little X. There's something wrong with him too.
Oh,
Something wrong with him. Something's wrong with him too. God forgive me. Something wrong with his child too. But
right.
I mean, just like them going after now, the thing is they want to arrest Obama for treason. This is what
Yeah,
Tulsi Gabbard said.
I know. I saw.
Arrest him for treason, but this is what they forget. The Supreme Court gave all presidents immunity. You
Exactly.
dummy. So
Exactly.
go
They
ahead
even
and try and
Biden.
prosecute.
He even
They
tried
want
with
Biden, they
Biden.
want Clinton, and they want Obama.
And I'm
Those
like,
are the tropes. Those are the dog whistles that get the MAGA based dicks hard and shit. Excuse me. I know it's gonna be early in the morning when you listen to
listen,
this.
hey,
Like,
shit happens.
shit
Um,
happens.
right.
Okay.
All right. So let's move into this other thing. So
Ah, okay.
Sassy, I know you were talking about the Paul Pierce, um,
Oh my God. When I saw that.
why NBA players date white women. Uh,
Well, no, Paul Pierce, there was a post I saw with Paul Pierce, and if you don't know, like I didn't know he was a basketball player because I
mhm,
don't follow basketball. I'm a baseball girl.
yeah.
So I didn't know he was a basketball player. So he basically said that black men would be better served if they went overseas and got themselves a woman because all they do here in America is twerk. Like European women don't twerk. I forgot about that. European women don't twerk. African women don't twerk. Asian women don't twerk. And don't, dang, you end up in Thailand somewhere. You think you got a girl.
They ain't got no ass.
They're
To
not
twerk.
worried about that. When I hear black men, really when I hear black men or any man talk about the way in which women are better overseas,
Mhm,
all I hear in my mind is a control factor. You want a woman to fuck you, feed you, and shut the fuck up.
yeah.
Period. You want somebody that you can control, somebody that's malleable, and
Mhm,
then get mad when it don't work and the bitch take half your money.
mhm.
But she was so easy,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And the other thing is with Paul Pierce when he said that It's, and how I look at it, black women don't have the access to these brothers that white people do. And when these brothers get this amount of money, they're not around their families and friends and going to cookouts and being invited to nice, beautiful young black girls. The ones that are in the room are the coaches, nieces and nieces and some nephews, you know, and those relatives. Those are the ones that have access to these men, not black women. So when Paul Pierce, birthed by a black woman, raised by a black woman, surrounded by black women in his life, saying that white women are better, or any woman, whether it's Latino, Asian, or whatever, than black, I have a problem with him off the rip. Off the rip.
But that gives me the kind of pauses. Okay, do you hate your own mother? Like, I mean, at some point, do you? I mean, what was it? Because when you talk about black women, your mom is black. Do you hate her? I mean, granted, I mean, it just makes you think of
I just think
what
they
the
say it for
hell.
clout to be part of the narrative. I really do. I think they just say it for clout and to be a part of this false narrative, because you can look at where they grew up. Generally, let's say, even though some may have single moms, you can look at what that mom sacrificed to put you through, and you can't appreciate the struggle that, and things that she went through, to say you won't have any opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, you can love who you love. If that's your preference, that's your preference. But your preference doesn't have to demean or annihilate the significance or contributions of a whole nother aspect of that same gender. So you can say what you want about, non-American women. You may like certain style, but black women here in general, they don't have the options of, waiting for somebody to come and rescue them, and, from whatever. I don't necessarily think it's a third world country that he's talking about, but for a country that doesn't have the means and opportunities that American women have. So yeah, that's a whole savior type of complex where he thinks that he's rescuing somebody and they appreciative. But over here, people have, little girls grow up with dreams of their own and desires of their own, and wanting to be a lawyer or a doctor or a politician or whatever it is. Like, other places don't have that necessarily the opportunity to do that. So you can't hate on somebody's drive and not want to depend on your whack ass to take care of them.
You know, it's so
So
interesting. I was somewhere and I heard a retired football player, professional football player, and his mom was black, and his mom is black, his father's white. Father walked out on both of them years ago. Mom struggled as a single mom, and
Jalen Hurts.
no, 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 no. But I often will hear him talk like so derogatory about his mother. Um, and I'm like sitting there like, but he said, because we grew up poor and never grew up poor. And I mean, and she wasn't worth shit and all this stuff. And it was just like, and I'm looking like,
What?
but I'm like, your white father walked out
wow.
on both of you guys. So what was she supposed, like, what was she did all she could to raise you. And all
Where his
and
self ability?
he loves, he
He
only
love white
dates,
women, don't he?
yeah,
I bet
he
I know who
only
you
dates
talking about.
white
That dude
women.
that I bet
No,
I
no,
know
no,
who you.
no, 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 don't do
I'm
that.
not
Don't
gonna
do
say
that.
the name.
Okay.
Not gonna say
So,
the name, but
but
you see my eye, I was
yeah,
like,
but I
who
mean,
is that? I bet I know who you talking
yeah,
about. Okay.
he only date white women. His children are by white women. I mean, and it's just like, and the way and I even hear him, how he talks about his children's mother, his current wife, who are not black.
He don't
And
like women.
he's still just like, and I'm like, okay, so what was it? Like, you just hate women. And that was my thing. You just hate women. And then, I mean, huge Trump supporter. But, I mean, it's just like, really? Like, how in the hell? And that to the life of me, I don't get that. Regardless of how bad your mom is or whatever, to me, and this is just how I was brought up, you still respect your parents. Regardless. You still
Any
respect your
man,
parents.
I will not. I absolutely refuse to date any man, involve myself with any man that has any hatred towards his mother, and
Yes.
any that doesn't even have a relationship with his mother.
Right.
She raised you.
Mhm.
Now, if you tell me she didn't raise you, then that's a deeper conversation. But if
Right.
this woman
Because
raised you and
you have a lot of
sacrificed,
people.
you,
Right.
right? If
You
she
have a lot of
raised
people
you
that
and
was raised by their
sacrificed,
grandparents. So that I
you
get.
you
But
do. Now that's a deeper conversation, right?
yes, exactly.
What did the grandparents raise you while mama was working three jobs because it was five of y'all? You know what I mean? But that's again, it's a deeper conversation. But a man that this man flat out does not like women,
Mhm.
whether they're black or white.
Right.
And if I had been sitting there and he had said that to his mother, I probably would have
But
I know I would have said something. I probably would have been very unbenefited. He probably would have been very nasty towards me.
you know,
But I definitely would have said something like like you non-screwing little dick motherfucker. This is giving little dick energy when
I
you talk
mean, for
about your mother
me,
like
when
that.
I heard it, I was like, and I looked at, I was like, wow. And he was just like, he was just like, he's like, and I was just like,
but
wow. I had to get up. I had to get up and I left. I got up and exited the
to
room.
contextualize,
You have to. I'm sorry, Kim.
you have to contextualize how self hate plays into that. No, no, no. I'm just talking about self hate, and I don't want to talk over anybody because I know it's probably a delay on my end. But a lot of those men hate themselves. Like they use those trophy women or the things that they surround themselves with in order to validate their own insecurities. And then you have to think if you're coming up like you were talking sassy, coming up in that lane, because there's a lane. These kids are now, looked at in elementary school, junior high school, they go to these prep schools and they're surrounded by what they're supposed to be obtaining as success in the future. And it never looks like, the people that raise them. They're not even necessarily in the community in the afternoons or, going hanging out with people that look like them that are raised in that same environment because they're protected and put in this bubble. And
Hmm.
then outside of that, they now become that same faction of people who only witness our blackness through the prism of the propaganda, the over sexualization, the over criminalization, the undervalue of our educational skills and contributions to society. Like those things aren't put out there. So just like other countries come here and their only interaction or concept of us is what American media shows them and it vilifies us. So that becomes a self hate thing. I'm not like them. Oh, you can trust me. I'm not like that. Oh, yeah, I don't do that. I'm not like them. And you separate yourself from that whole environment, that whole dynamic. So yeah, you can't come home with a black girl now after you've been talking shit about black women the whole time, and all your videos and your friends, in the locker room are showing black women being, you know, brutalized or marginalized or whatever lies are told through that prism. It does impact not just them, but the shit they say and the things they do. That's why somebody like Pierce can come out and talk about American women. That's why RG3 can, talk all that trash about Angel Reese. It's the same mentality. It's not just, they hate black, they hate themselves. So how you gonna
Hmm.
love anybody that look like you when you've been told and given your whole experience being taught that this is less than, that their water's colder, their ice is colder, their water wetter, they food better, like all of those things, they women better. Come on. That's not, if I could live in the suburbs in a nice gated cul-de-sac versus, growing up in
Yeah.
Murphy homes, no offense to the PJs, but what environment would you want to live in? It goes back to separate but unequal. If it were separate but equal, we wouldn't have these problems. We wouldn't have Lake Lanier. We wouldn't have Rosewood. We wouldn't have Tulsa riots. We wouldn't have any of those things. But I'm
Well,
sorry.
we were
I
trying to
digress.
make it equal with
Mhm.
Lake. We were trying to make it equal, and
Yeah,
they burnt it down.
that's
You
true.
know, they
Oh,
burnt
no,
it
no, no.
down. But
And
yeah,
that's the problem. And that's the problem. That's why you can't teach African American studies in schools now. They don't want to know the true contribution of black people to America. They don't
Uh,
want to know that. The
and
only thing they want
and
to
with
say is that you
that,
came from slaves.
yeah.
with
Uh,
that, that's up to our generation. and the ones after us, since they're removing it, to teach it.
Exactly.
It's going to be
Like
incumbent
parent.
upon us. We're going to have to be like the Jewish community and never forget.
Exactly.
Never forget.
Exactly. All right,
Ooh,
y'all. Man, that
that went fast.
that did go fast. All right, so before we wrap up the show,
Oh, our poll.
yeah, our poll.
Okay.
So our poll was do you think that Epstein lists exist? So we have where oh no, I'm sorry. Pull up the wrong thing. Last week's poll, okay. 69% of Americans believe this list exists.
Yeah. They
69.
talked about it.
To see there anyway.
Right. Exactly. So we'll see. We'll see that they put up the apparently, DOJ requested that all the files, because Trump requested all the files be released and all testimony, whatever. So we'll see what happens.
Well, he's getting ready to sue the Wall Street Journal, and I say go for it because I want the discovery of said list.
Because
He's not even dummy is. He doesn't even understand the discovery process.
Exactly.
When you're being sued.
Yeah, and he knows he was messing with them little girls. It's all over the social media. He knows he was messing with them little girls.
He's a pedophile.
He is a pedophile.
He's a pedophile.
So our next week's poll is, do you think having another political party will make a difference?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Like that.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, y'all, we are going to wrap up.
Final thought.
Final thought of today is politicians and diapers must be changed often, and mostly for the same reason. And this was a quote by Mark Twain.
I like that.
No explanation needed.
I love it. That was a good one.
All right, y'all. This is Women's Talk Live Overnights with your girl April J.
It's SassyScribe.
And this is KL Boogie.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.
Peace.